Alright, so today we shall practice English conversations. Now first, here are a few examples where we shall learn how to say exactly the same thing but in a different manner. We'll think over the plan carefully. We'll think it over carefully. I've turned in the reports. I've turned them in. Didn't she make out the form? Didn't she make it out? Why can't I find out those things? This can also be said as, why can't I find them out? Please don't point out the mistake. Please don't point it out. It's hard to break in new employees. This can also be said as, it's hard to break them in. When did you use up the supplies? This can also be said as, when did you use them up? You'd better put on your sweater. This can also be said as, you'd better put it on. He couldn't take out those parts. He couldn't take them out. Why won't she bring up the subject? This can also be said as, why won't she bring it up? You're going to wear out your suit. This can also be said as, you're going to wear it out. It's necessary to look up the words. It's necessary to look them up. Didn't he carry out their instructions? Didn't he carry them out? I've already worked out a plan. This can also be said as, I've already worked it out. Please turn over your papers now. This can also be said as, please turn them over now. Shouldn't you throw away that rubbish? This can also be said as, shouldn't you throw it away? The weather held up our flight. This can also be said as, the weather held it up. We'd better turn off the radio now. This can also be said as, we'd better turn it off now. Please put away the tools before leaving. This can also be said as, please put them away before leaving. Someone took it back. This can also be said as, it was taken back. No one will try them out. You can also say, they won't be tried out. Someone has used them up. We can also say, they've been used up. No one is taking it down. This can also be said as, it isn't been taken down. Someone ought to pick them out. This can also be said as, they ought to be picked out. No one will turn that down. This can also be said as, that won't be turned down. Someone was looking them over. This can also be said as, they were being looked over. Someone is going to hold that up. That's going to be held up. No one should bring it up. This can also be said as, it shouldn't be brought up. Someone has thrown them away. This can also be said as, they've been thrown away. No one has to clear that up. That doesn't have to be cleared up. Someone is giving them away. They are being given away. No one was pointing that out. This can also be said as, that wasn't being pointed out. Someone will hand them in. This can also be said as, they'll be handed in. Someone crossed it out. This can also be said as, it was crossed out. No one is taking them off. This can also be said as, they aren't being taken off. Now here is an example where we shall learn how we can say different things or describe about different things using the same kind of conversation. What did you say? Would you please turn off the lights? I turned them off this morning. Sorry, I didn't realize that. What did you say? Would you please look over the report? I looked it over this morning. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Now, instead of reports, we can also talk about something else. What did you say? Would you please cross out those names? I crossed them out this morning. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Now let's try something else. What did you say? Would you please figure out the total cost? I figured it out this morning. Sorry, I didn't realize that. What did you say? Would you please look up those words? I looked them up this morning. Sorry, I didn't realize that. What did you say? Would you please bring up that matter? I brought it up this morning. Sorry, I didn't realize that. What did you say? Would you please take down the information? I took it down this morning. Sorry, I didn't realize that. What did you say? Would you please throw away those papers? I threw them away this morning. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Now here's a similar kind of example. What are you thinking about? I guess we'll have to think over the plan. Exactly why do you have to think it over? Because it's obviously important. Now instead of the plan, we can talk about something else. What are you thinking about? I guess we'll have to turn in the reports. Exactly why do you have to turn them in? Because it's obviously important. What are you thinking about? I guess we'll have to make out the form. Exactly why do you have to make it out? Because it's obviously important. What are you thinking about? I guess we'll have to point out the mistakes. Exactly why do you have to point them out? Because it's obviously important. What are you thinking about? I guess we'll have to bring up the subject. Exactly why do you have to bring it up? Because it's obviously important. What are you thinking about? I guess we'll have to carry out instructions. Exactly why do you have to carry them out? Because it's obviously important. What are you thinking about? I guess we'll have to look up the answer. Exactly why do you have to look it up? Because it's obviously important. What are you thinking about? I guess we'll have to turn over the papers. Exactly why do you have to turn them over? Because it's obviously important. Now here are a few conversations with tag questions. That isn't your jacket, is it? No, it isn't, but it looks like mine. But these are your gloves, aren't they? Yes, they are. There were a lot of people at the reception, weren't there? Yes, there were. Over 100, I'd guess. There wasn't enough food for everyone, was there? No, there wasn't, and everyone complained. It rains a lot in this part of the country, doesn't it? Yes, it does, but only in the spring. But it doesn't ever snow around here, does it? No, it never does. You left the office very late, didn't you? Yes, I did. Around 11 o'clock. Then you didn't get much sleep, did you? No, I didn't. John has been looking for a job, hasn't he? Yes, he has. Quite diligently, too. He hasn't found a suitable one yet, has he? No, he hasn't. but I'm sure he will soon. Now here are a few examples where we shall learn how to add tag questions with the statement. That isn't your jacket. Now, if we have to add tag question to this statement, the sentence will be, that isn't your jacket, is it? Those aren't your gloves. Now, the tag question with this will be, those aren't your gloves, are they? This isn't your coat. This isn't your coat, is it? These aren't your shoes. These aren't your shoes, are they? That isn't your hat. The tag question with this will be, that isn't your hat, is it? Those aren't your books. The tag question with this will be, those aren't your books, are they? That's your jacket. Now the tag question with this will be, that's your jacket, isn't it? Those are your gloves. Now the tag question with this will be, those are your gloves, aren't they? This is your coat. The tag question with this will be, this is your coat, isn't it? These are your shoes. The tag question with this will be, these are your shoes, aren't they? That's your hat. That's your hat, isn't it? Those are your books. Those are your books, aren't they? Now here are a few short conversations with tag questions. That's your jacket, isn't it? Yes, it is. That isn't your coat, is it? No, it isn't. Those are your gloves, aren't they? Yes, they are. Those aren't your books, are they? No, they aren't. This is your hat, isn't it? Yes, it is. These aren't your shoes, are they? No, they aren't. Now here are a few examples where we shall learn how to make a tag question with a sentence and how to answer those questions. Those are your books. Now the tag question with this will be, those are your books, aren't they? And the answer, yes, they are. They are my books. That isn't your jacket. The tag question will be, that isn't your jacket, is it? And the answer, no, it isn't. It isn't my jacket. That's your hat. The tag question will be, that's your hat, isn't it? And the answer, yes, it is. It's my hat. Those aren't your gloves. The tag question will be, those aren't your gloves, are they? And the answer, no, they aren't. They aren't my gloves. These are your shoes. The tag question, these are your shoes, aren't they? Answer, yes, they are. They are my shoes. Now here are a few more examples of how to make tag questions of a sentence. It rains a lot here. It rains a lot here, doesn't it? The men work there. The men work there, didn't they? John likes television. John likes television, doesn't he? The wind blew very hard. The wind blew very hard, didn't it? The girls enjoy that class. The tag question with this will be, the girls enjoy that class, don't they? That caused the trouble. That caused the trouble, didn't it? It doesn't rain much here. It doesn't rain much here, does it? The men didn't work there. The men didn't work there, did they? John doesn't like television. John doesn't like television, does he? The wind didn't blow hard. The wind didn't blow hard, did it? The girls don't enjoy the class. The girls don't enjoy the class, do they? Now here are a few short conversations about how to answer in a very short manner. It rains a lot here, doesn't it? Yes, it does. The girls don't enjoy the class, do they? No, they don't. That caused the trouble, didn't it? Yes, it did. The men didn't work there, did they? No, they didn't. The wind blew hard, didn't it? Yes, it did. John doesn't like television, does he? No, he doesn't. They work hard, don't they? Yes, they do. They're working hard, aren't they? Yes, they are. They don't work hard, do they? No, they don't. They aren't working hard, are they? No, they aren't. She writes letters, doesn't she? Yes, she does. She's writing letters, isn't she? Yes, she is. She doesn't write letters, does she? No, she doesn't. She isn't writing letters, is she? No, she isn't.